the major legal victory for the M.K. Stalin-led Tamil Nadu government, with the Supreme Court coming down heavily on Governor R.N. Ravi for delaying Assent to 10 crucial bills. In a stinging judgment, the apex court called the governor's move illegal, arbitrary, and acting in bad faith. While the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has welcomed the move and called the Supreme Court ruling historic, the big question: will the Tamil Nadu governor now step down? In a moment, I'll be joined by a special guest, but first take a look at what the apex court said.
Big blow to Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi. A Supreme Court bench of Justices J.B. Pardiwala and R. Mahadevan came down heavily on the governor for delaying assent to 10 bills passed by the State Assembly. The court ruled that the governor's decision to reserve the 10 bills for precedent as illegal and arbitrary. The judges went on to say the 10 bills shall be deemed to be cleared from the date it was sent a second time to the governor by the Assembly. The bench made it clear that the governor, who draws powers from Article 200, enjoys no veto power, and said governor's decision on bills is open to judicial review. The court also set time frames for the governor to act on bills. In withholding assent and reserving it for the President with the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, the governor can take maximum 1 month. While withholding assent without the aid and advice of Council of Ministers, the governor must return the bill within 3 months. If a bill is presented to the governor after reconsideration by State Assembly, Raj Bhavan must clear it within 1 month.
So the court has held that you are not a super legislature. Court goes on to say, lay down a time schedule so that in future the governors of the different states, they keep in mind this judgment. These reports are coming very frequently from various states. Governors must pass orders within a period of 1 month to 3 months, depending upon the nature of the bills. So therefore, a timeline has been fixed, which should generally be followed.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin described the Supreme Court verdict as historic.
இந்த தீர்ப்பு தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு மட்டுமின்றி இந்தியாவில் உள்ள அனைத்து மாநில அரசுகளுக்கும் கிடைத்த மாபெரும் வெற்றியாகும். திராவிட முன்னேற்றக் கழகத்தின் உயிர் கொள்கையான மாநில சுயாட்சி, மத்திய கூட்டாட்சி தத்துவம் ஆகியவற்றை நிலைநாட்டிட தமிழ்நாடு போராடியது. தமிழ்நாடு போராடும், தமிழ்நாடு வெல்லும்.
With the Supreme Court drawing the line for governors, state governments, especially those headed by the opposition parties, will breathe a sigh of relief.
It's a big verdict, and bigger yet are the political ramifications of this verdict. Non-BJP ruled states have been raising this issue for a long time, that the delay by governors is a direct attack on their governments. Now, with the apex court drawing a Lakshman Rekha and defining the role and power of governors, it remains to be seen how this plays out in the political arena. In New Delhi, with cameraman Manish Jha, this is Anisha Mathur for India Today.
And let me go now to one of the country's leading lawyers, senior Supreme Court advocate, former Attorney General, and was a lawyer for Tamil Nadu in the court. Mukul Rohatgi joins me. Mr. Rohatgi, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a very stinging judgment by the Supreme Court pulling up the governor of Tamil Nadu. Do you believe, and I'm going to be very direct with you, in the context of what the judgment says, should the Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi now step down, owning moral responsibility?
See, first of all, I must say that this is a path-breaking judgment. It's a very bold and a courageous judgment. Rarely some judgments come across like this, maybe once every decade. And I would say full marks to the Supreme Court to uphold the Constitution and the oft-quoted, rule that how you may be, the Constitution and the laws are above you. So whether it be the governor or whether it be anybody else, everybody is subject to the Constitution. The Supreme Court has, in a very meaningful manner, held that the governor shall not act as a roadblock, but will act as a catalyst, because the ultimate supreme masters under the Constitution are the people. The people are represented by the elected government. And if the elected government passes a law, then there are only three courses available. He will assent to the law and it will become law immediately. Second is, he can send it back for reconsideration if he feels that there is something objectionable. If it is resent back to him or reiterated, he has no option but to grant assent. And in the case of a money bill, he can't even send it back. And the third option is that right in the beginning, if he feels that it requires presidential assent, because the state law will be violative of a central law, only then it can go to the president. That's it. It cannot be that you sit over the bills, you don't sign them, you put it in cold storage, months and months will pass. All that kind of stuff, the Supreme Court has said, will be unconstitutional. Now, coming to your suggestion, whether the governor should step down or not, I personally find in the facts of this case, and I'm glad to say that I started the debate of this case in the Supreme Court of India, that this was a case of continued obstinacy and inaction of the governor. And despite the Supreme Court giving a long rope to the governor to, finish off this ugly spat, yet the governor stuck to his guns. And ultimately this verdict has come. And every action of the government has been castigated in the facts of this case. And I think the governor would do well to resign.
The governor would do well to resign. You're saying something major. You're saying in your wisdom, the governor of Tamil Nadu should step down after this verdict. But the fact is, Mr. Rohatgi, the governor is showing no signs of stepping down. And remember, there are other states also, not just Mr. Ravi, other state governments in tussle, opposition-ruled state governments in tussle with governors, be it Kerala, be it West Bengal. Are you saying that this judgment could have a salutary effect on all of them? Will anything really change?
See, Rajdeep, whether the Honorable Governor resigns or not is a matter of his personal discretion. If you uphold high values, then, you take a particular course. But your larger question, whether this will help in solving the tussle which is going on. I know it is going on in Kerala also. And that Kerala case is also pending in the Supreme Court. According to me, the law of the land has now been clearly settled, explicitly stated in bold terms by this judgment. Everybody is bound by the judgment of the Supreme Court by virtue of Article 141 of the Constitution. A judgment of the Supreme Court is law. It is akin to parliamentary legislation. That is the impact of a judgment of the Supreme Court. Everybody is bound, including the Supreme Court itself, unless it overturns its own judgment. Therefore, there is no point in saying, it will be a cynic to say that whatever the Supreme Court may decide, nothing will change. I'm sorry, that is not the way one should look at it. One should look at it constitutionally, holistically, and positively. This has laid down the law. Everybody is bound. And mind you, Rajdeep, I said the judgment is very bold for one more reason. It has now set out timelines for a governor to act within 1 month in certain situations and within 3 months in certain situations. The court has used the phrase that the governor cannot choke the assembly because the assembly is discharging a constitutional function of passing laws and implementing laws, which is the will of the people. That's how this pyramidal structure is based, that the ultimate masters are the people.
May I ask you, though, in conclusion, that is this also about the larger question of the way governors are appointed in this country? They are seen largely as nominees of the center, do the center's bidding. Do you believe that this judgment will have a salutary effect on the way governors are appointed?
I don't know how far that will change. That is how governors have been appointed for the last 75 years. But, if you ask my humble opinion, according to me, the office of the governor should be abolished. And
Mukul Rohatgi, Mukul Rohatgi, former Attorney General, is telling me the office of governor should be abolished in this country?
Yes, but I have a governor who's by and large, who is doing symbolic things. Ultimately, it's the will of the people. Why have such great expenditures for governors for no rhyme or reason? It's a feudal mindset that you have a governor or a governor general or the viceroy as you used to have in the old days. What is the need of having a governor? You can do without it. According to me, there is no need. The only, by and large, the governor has only one discretion, which is not mentioned in the constitution, and that discretion is who to swear in at the time when the elections are held. When two people put across their competing claims, he has to decide who will, be sworn in. That can also be specified by laws. If somebody has a larger number, somebody can be sworn in. The power can be given to somebody else, can be given to a speaker also. Why have one full institution with these kind of expenses? You don't need Raja to be, over the public or the proletariat. And if you remember, I can only tell you, in another context, Dr. Ambedkar had said that we don't want an imperio and imperium. That is, don't have a king amongst kings. It was said in a different context, which was the power of the Chief Justice of India to appoint a judge. And Ambedkar said that I cannot give this power solely to the Chief Justice because he is also a human being. If that is good for the Chief Justice, certainly good for a governor. So why have it?
Mukul Rohatgi, for joining me and claiming that you believe the governor should step down, that you don't even believe there should be a governor's office anymore. I appreciate you joining us with that plain speaking after that major landmark judgment of the Supreme Court.